Hey Capricorn, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings, so we take what works, we leave what doesn't, as with everything in life. If I don't catch your wavelength on this one, or even if I do, check your other major placements. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus are major placements. We're going to start with the Oracle Mystical Moments deck for an intuitive vibe, and then we're going to move to the Muse Tarot for a more traditional tarot spread. Although the Muse Tarot, the messages are so different for me coming from the Muse Tarot, and it's actually a little bit more intuitive than a straight tarot, but a spread will be straight tarot. So also I do appreciate the likes and the subscribes. The subscribes help other people find the channel and as well. So if you find these messages useful, please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. All right, what do we have from Oracle Mystical Moments? What do we have here? All right, okay. Just when I was like thinking maybe I should go into Moonology instead. I've got something here. Actually, let's do that. I want to go to Moonology. All right, Moonology. I'm looking for volunteers at first, but if not, then we'll just move to, all right. All right, so you have Red Garden. You've changed, you've grown quite a bit. There's something you might be wanting to communicate about that, but you haven't yet. You are looking back at the past. There's actually a couple of cards like this in the deck about changing, but you're looking back at the past, but you're not seeing something back there quite so clearly, which is probably a good thing why you haven't communicated what you need to communicate yet, because there's something back there that you have sort of a bit of cloudy vision. You might be remembering it better than it was, or there's just something back there that has really caught your attention again to revisit that, which is good. I mean, we don't want to live in the past, but to never look at it, to never re-examine it is criminal. So you're looking back at it, but you don't see something quite so clearly. In the meantime, you've grown a lot, you've changed, and I think that this change has caused you to reconsider something from your past, re-look back at it. I do think you need to do some sort of examination on how who you are now is coloring. I don't know that you can't see it. It's just that who you are now puts a really different patina on what happened back there, a really different, because as we change, our understanding of the past really does change with us. So, but part of you is ready to move forward, but there's still some unfinished business back there that needs re-examination, or is being re-examined and looked at in a different light. I love it. New moon in Taurus, prosperity lies ahead. So this is something that's like manifested in reality. It could be money, could be work, could be a lot of different things. But it is coming into reality. It's going to be in the 3D. You're going to be able to touch and see it. So prosperity lies ahead. We're not there yet. And it looks like you might have a new idea, a new concept, a new way of doing something. It could be about this looking, so this bird is looking ahead. There's prosperity ahead, but there's unfinished business back here that needs to be re-examined here. But you are going someplace good. So don't fear looking back at the past. Don't fear that, because it needs to be cleared out and seen in a new light. And you bring that new light. The way you've changed is going to change the way you look at that. Cardinal moon, be bold and make the first move. Make the first moon. So middle school. Be bold and make the first move. So it could be planning, and being bold is not the same as being rash, or being irresponsible, or being you just have to you have to initiate something. You're initiating something, possibly even a conversation after you've looked at this past, but you're initiating something, you're starting something up. It's going to turn out well. There's going to be real world effects that you'll be able to see, but it does have to do with re-examining something from the past. But be bold, make the first move, cardinal moon. You're going somewhere. You just... yeah, and being bold and making those first moves can often be planning or maybe even thinking it out or dreaming or something like that. But there is a sense of needing to make like physical action. You have two cards here that are very physically oriented, very grounded, very 3D oriented. So making a move in reality, like a move, like move, like move. Physically moving, doing something, and you will be initiating that. It will go well, and then just kind of internally, there's something about the past that's going to allow you to move forward. Re-examining something. Let's make sure this deck is faced in the right direction for ease of reading, so I don't get a bunch of reversals. All reversals. All right, Capricorn. This is your past, your present, your inner landscape, what's at issue, your environment, your to-do list, and your possible outcome. There was nothing here that suggested a conversation specifically other than that little green bird. And now we've got two knights here. Knights are going to be about communication, moving a situation forward. So we do have some specific to the throat chakra cards here. So we have in your recent past, we have Knight of Voices. So communication, some fast moving communication, some quick communication, being able to go over barriers, clearing things up, clearing things up, bringing a lot of clarity to the situation, a lot of understanding. I mean, the voices are going to be communication, obviously, but they're also ideas, concepts that come in very clearly. So this was communicating very clearly, being able to surpass some barriers, some boundaries, maybe some difficult, some cloudy thinking, or I mean, we do have this here, the cloudy thinking or the clouded thinking, clearing that up, getting around some sort of, that's so funny, I can't think of the word, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Some sort of foggy situation, some sort of situation where you can't, but you were able to surpass that. The communication surpassed some sort of, I can't think of the word to describe not being able to see something clearly or express something clearly. So that's really funny. So yeah, you were able to get around that though. There was some clear communication and some clear thinking, even despite some barriers to that and some inability at some point to have seen clearly. You moved around it. Somebody was able to move around those barriers of not being able to think of the word, And so in your current situation, you have the Moon card. Things are being revealed. Things are being shown to you, revealed, starting to understand things that were previously hidden, starting to understand your own subconscious and what lies in there, starting to pull some of that stuff up. The things that we can't see, I mean, dealing with the things that we can't see and we can't know, and the things that we can. The things that we can't tame and the things that we can tame in ourselves. The things that, I mean, I think, you know, at some point in your life, you realize like, that's just never going to change. I'm just always going to have to leave one dish in the sink. I don't know why, but I've worked on it enough that I don't feel like this is that big of a deal that I need to keep, you know, so you work on yourself, and then there's a certain point of like, this is just the way it is. So you're discovering some parts of yourself that are movable, and that you can adapt, and other parts of yourself that are just there and they're not going to be able to adapt. The more the structural parts, and then the more like decorative parts that we can move around the room. We can't change the walls, but we can change the furniture. I think it takes a while to figure out what parts of you can move around and are adaptable, and what parts of you are just are part of the structure. So I feel like that's a little bit of what's going on in the moon. There's also things from the past being revealed, things being revealed and understood in a new light and in a new way, much more. So yeah, you're starting to understand something and see something. I think this communication made it a lot easier. It was probably revealing something that had been cloudy and eclipsing the clarity. I mean, and these two cards, this Knight of Voices and this Moon card, basically are this card. Like, things, seeing things in a new light, and I don't know how the Knight of Voices works in here, but yeah, something that you weren't able to see, and now you are able to see it in a new light, and re-examine things based on the information that came through in what seems like it was probably a conversation or a communication here. It clarified some things, and you were able to see some things in a new light, in a new way, and maybe even do some self-examination in that new light and new way, and figure out like what's going on here, and figure out why you thought it was the way it was. And there's just been a lot of inner work and a lot of revealing things that have been hidden. And I feel like that conversation probably brought up a bunch of that stuff, stirred the waters, and now you're able to see some things in a different light, which is that first card. So in your inner landscape, you have Two of Inspiration. This is going to be Two of Wands, basically. So planning, thinking. What are the next steps? This is more practical thinking. We're in Inspiration, which is more intuitive, but we're only at the Two. So we're just starting to get used to this path of inspiration. We're just starting to understand something. So we're still in a more spreadsheet type mode. I mean, look, they're just basically on a spreadsheet grid, but we're inspired, and we've got a little pop out here where we're feeling inspired, and we can start to see the overall vision, start to understand the overall vision of where our intuition might be taking us. But we're still sort of in a grid-like thinking mode, and still we're planning and figuring and planning and figuring. And in the middle of that, there is this like little inspiration and this clarity of inspiration. But the overall mode is still figuring some details out. So that's what's going on. You could also be worried that you're going to get overly practical about this, or try to fit this all into, overthink it, basically try to fit it all into some sort of expectation and some sort of grid here. So these top three cards are all about like revelations coming in, clarity of things that you didn't realize before. And it might not have been a conversation. It could have just been intuitive vibes, or like I saw a picture recently and was like, oh my God, I like that timing, that date, it all, oh wow. Okay, now I understand what was going on. Like, it was from 20 years ago. It was so funny. It was like this picture, and then just the date was like, but I thought they were there. Oh my God, they were there, not there. Oh wow. I think they were cheating on me. And because this picture, and I don't think they realized that had been hidden from me this whole time. So anyway, that was like, what do I want to say? Why did I say that? It might not have been a conversation per se, but just like coming up, something coming up and coming forward, and just information and clarity of things that hadn't been clear before. So this whole top row here, your past, your present, your inner landscape, is starting to understand something, of a more intuitive nature, like the breaking through some sort of grid or some sort of way that you've seen something in the past, things coming to light, things being now seen and understood in a new way, and trying and just starting on a path of integrating that information into your life. And how this all fits together and how this all works out. But you're still planning and thinking and figuring stuff out. So what's at issue here, what's going on is we have the Knight of Emotions. okay, we may have communicated something clearly or gotten something clear, but there's like some emotional growth here, some emotional movement, and some emotional communication that's being withheld. That someone doesn't want to talk about their feelings right now, which I feel that way sometimes too. I don't want to talk about my feelings sometimes. But there's a lot of deep emotion here, and there might have been a lot of emotional growth. Well, we are talking about some growth here, and you're not ready to talk about it, or somebody here is not talking about their emotional growth, or there hasn't been a lot of emotional growth yet. Like things have been revealed, things have been understood, but this is all almost an intellectual understanding of our inspiration and our intuition. We may have intuited something, and now we're starting to understand why and where it's going and how it fits into everything. But there's either some sort of emotional growth that has not occurred, or communication about emotional growth or feelings that hasn't occurred. And the Knight of Emotions can be very mercurial, emotional. It could be just some unbridled feelings here that are just a little bit out of control and wild, and not out of control. We don't control our emotions. So I really hate that phrase, out of control emotions, because the emotions are just information coming into us, and then we make a decision on what to do with that information. We make that choice of how we're going to respond to that information. And so controlling it always has a sense of suppressing it, or telling yourself what you're going to feel. When we want these feelings to be coming up and telling us how we feel, and then we take that and we understand that. So there's a bit of the mind makes a great servant but a terrible master here. So with this clarity, with this understanding, and with this Two of Inspiration here, this is a lot of what this is. The mind makes a great servant but a terrible master. Like, you don't have your mind telling you how you're going to feel. You don't have your mind doing a lot of stuff. You have your mind there to figure out how to deal with something, but your mind shouldn't be messing with your emotions as far as dictating what they are. So a bit of that Two of Inspiration could be what's going on internally as you trying to control emotions, but these emotions are not going to be controlled. They want to be understood. And it's either that or there's some sort of communication, but still, it's about emotions, it's about understanding, and there's some sort of blockage there. It could be internal, you not understanding your own feelings, your own emotions, not listening to them, or not listening to somebody else's, or somebody's not listening or not communicating. So there's a difficulty with communicating feelings, either internally or in whatever conversation we're in here. In your landscape, in your externals, we have the sun here. A lot of clarity and a lot of joy going on here. I love the sun coming right underneath this Knight of Voices, because this Knight of Voices brought in a lot of clarity, was able to dodge some obstacles, like an obstacle course of miscommunication and misunderstanding. This Knight of Voices was able to really run that obstacle course, like jump those little things and jump over the little river and do all the little horsey things that horses do in their little dressage competitions or whatever. So that communication wise, this communication really dodged a lot of obstacles and brought a lot of clarity. So in your environment, there's a lot of gorgeous clarity, a lot of beautiful growth. You're in a very powerful position here. There's a lot of joy, a lot of growth, a lot of your solar plexus, like really understanding something, really getting clear on something. There's several things here about getting clear on something. Oh, but you've got a little bit of way to go. But you've got this sun card here about like getting the clarity, getting the understanding. You may have had a conversation that cleared up a lot of things, and brought some healing here, but it's almost like the moon. Oh, we have the moon and the sun. How cute. This moon here stirred up a lot of shit. Like I was saying, like the waters got stirred, got muddied, got really agitated here, and so in order to get clear, it looks like you're going to need some time to let those waters settle. So here we have the Hermit card. This is sort of a vision quest going off on your own. So getting out from labels of what relationships are, of what you're supposed to be doing, of what so-and-so says you are, of being getting away from our connections to others, which are really important and crucial to our survival, both emotional and physical. But they also can come with some expectations, some labels, some, you are the wife, the mother, the employee, and so you define yourself by these things, but you're so much more than that, or so much, there's an individual in there that's more than the roles. So this is getting in touch with the individual that's more than any of these roles. I feel like the moon has brought up a lot of things, and you need to go get clear with yourself. So this is your to-do list, this is your hermit, is going to get clear with yourself, going to understand, maybe even understand what it is that you see, how it is that you've changed. There's just a lot of self-understanding. And maybe even with this Knight of Emotions, you need to be coming in reverse like this, with emotional communication somehow not coming through very clearly, the emotions, even with yourself. So that's interesting, because that came out to me as sort of a possibility that you're not understanding your own emotions, or you're not allowing for your own emotional growth. Although we do see you having grown, you don't maybe even understand your own emotional growth and what's going on with you. So this Hermit card is taking some time out, away from your responsibilities, away from your labels, away from the definitions other people give you, and going on a very solitary vision quest, a very understanding your own light, your own inner compass, finding your... I always think of Captain Jack Sparrow's, broken compass, where it just shows where his heart wants to go. So getting in touch with your broken compass, your compass. Where is your North Star? What drives you? What do you want? Who are you? So really asking, and this isn't a speed race. This is just getting some understanding where you are now. There is, to me, in this card, a very strong sense of where you are now, right now, because she's in the desert, and there are shifting sands, right? And so there's not a lot of solid ground in our inner life, because we're always changing, and everything externally is changing, everything internally is changing, and it can be hard to get a sense of groundedness. But you almost have to be grounded in the changes, like grounded in the shifts, grounded in the fact that you will be changing. Oh yeah, about change is so, it's not just part of life, it is life. Like it is the seed must change into the plant. I was just reading something about this that just described it perfectly. The corn, the flower must change, must grow, must produce the fruit. The fruit must change, must grow, must ripen, and must spill its seeds. Like it's just this, it has to happen. Change is life. And so I feel like you need to go out into this Hermit card, and I just see these sands. The sands are changing, the shifting sands, and you need to just be in touch with where you are right now, today, because it's not going to ever be perfectly solid here. It's just where are you today in this moment? How do you feel? What's your North Star right now? Because that sun is always moving, always changing. I mean, yeah, there's a sun here, so I'm thinking of the sun as your North Star. It's a pretty bright star, right? So, but even that's moving through the night sky. It's all moving. All the parts are moving. So it's important to just check in with yourself every so often about where you are today, understanding where you are today. So that's what I see the Hermit card as for you, is getting in touch with who you are today. You've changed. Your feelings have changed. Everything's shifting. Getting in touch with taking some time out and getting in touch with who you are today. And then where you're going is Ten of Voices. Maximum amount of pain has been reached. You have been pierced through and through. There is no more piercing to be done. It's really fascinating how it's coming underneath this Two of Inspiration, and these feel like similar vibes to me, this overthinking, and then we end up with this where you're going is the end of overthinking. I feel like the end of over-intellectualizing something, the end of forcing something, forcing yourself into this grid of expectation, into this grid of who you're supposed to be. You have forced yourself, and it's over. You're not going to be doing that anymore. You've changed. You need to deal with how you've changed emotionally. and how you view a situation. But it's coming to an end. You have basically like, I don't know, I feel like you've murdered yourself through spreadsheet here. Like, you've just pierced yourself through this thinking, this overthinking. This can also be verbal abuse from other people coming in. It's 10 of voices, right? So it's communications that have been extremely painful, extremely difficult. It doesn't even have to be abusive. It just is, it's been hard to deal with. Whatever this communication or these understandings are, they've been very hard to deal with. The revelations have been hard to accept and to handle, and that's coming to an end. But I think the thing that brings it to an end is you getting in touch with who you are today, because everything's shifted, including you. You've shifted, you've changed, and you need to understand the ways in which you've changed. And then I think you can almost stop like self-harming through expectations. Like, I just see this grid coming through, and how things were supposed to be and what the plan was has harmed you, but it's over now. And these mountains appear also in this Knight of Voices. This harshness that had to be dodged in order to communicate something. It's now reached its pinnacle. Whatever the harshness or whatever the difficult obstacles were, it's reached its pinnacle. Man, these readings are long with the Muse. So anyway, 10 of Voices about the end of that cycle, the end of a painful cycle about communication, ideas, something, some way of being even. It's not gonna, it's the end of a cycle, but you gotta go get in touch with who you are today. Oh yeah, yes. As a person who used to milk cows, there's like a milk can here. She's milking a yak, but this just feels so freaking familiar to me. The yak or the cow will just suddenly decide that we are done here and kick over your bucket, and that's the day. That's the milk for the day. It's all over the floor now. Change is in the air. Sometimes we take things for granted and forget to stop and realize how incredible the ordinary things can be. Growth does often seem improbable, yet it happens every day in many ways. So too is something growing in your life that seems at the moment unlikely or impossible, yet it will happen anyway. Have faith, trust your feelings, and relax. Change is in the air. I love that change is in the air, because I got this shifting sands. I've never gotten that from a hermit card before. The shifting sands, the changes, and you just needing to be in touch with yourself as all these changes happen. So change is definitely in the air here. You've changed. We started off with you changing. We've got you getting in touch with the changes and the shifts that you're going through right now. And then we got like changes in the air. So, all right, Capricorn, hope that was helpful. Hope that was useful for you. Thank you.